What's up guys, welcome back to another episode of Stauffer Garage. Today's detail is of a kid trash Toyota RAV4, and if you're a parent, you completely understand what this car looks like on the inside because you've probably been there before. And for those of you that say that you haven't, I don't know if I believe you or not, because sometimes as a parent, it just happens. Sometimes you have to just let go, let the kids be kids, and sometimes they're not the cleanest. They're not the cleanest creatures ever. But what we're gonna do is we're gonna use all of the tips and tricks, all of our tools to get this car looking brand new again that you guys can use as well to keep your ride looking clean too. So if you're new, hit the subscribe button down below, give this video a big thumbs up, and if you don't have notifications on, turn them on so that way you guys do not miss out on any new disaster details coming your way. So with that being said, let's get started.
So the owner of this car is actually a really good friend of ours and she's super cool. But her and her husband have been killing it on paying off their debt. They're working multiple jobs, everything they can to pay it off. Because of that, their car is a little bit neglected. I decided that I wanted to detail their car for free as a favor. Because of that, I wanted to go ahead and detail the car for them as a favor.
So the first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna tackle with getting everything out of the vehicle. So that includes all of the floor mats, all of the trash on the floor, everything out of the vehicle itself. And I usually put it in a box for the owner to go through after the detail. And if it's trash, I usually just get rid of the trash. That's usually pretty obvious. But the things that are definitely gonna be kept by the owner, I put into a box so that way they can sort through it at a later time. Usually during this stage, when you're pulling everything out, it allows you to kind of see some of the deeper messes that might have been hidden underneath some of the trash before and gives you a better idea of what you need to do when you do your detail or your cleaning. Now that everything's out of the car, we're gonna move into the vacuuming stage. And for this, we're going to be trying to get as much dirt up as possible. So that way when we use our extractor later on, we won't have as much debris that kind of can get clogged or get sucked up. And we kind of can focus on more of the dirt that's embedded within the fibers instead. Now that we have majority of the carpets and the seats vacuumed up, we are gonna remove the front seats and back seats. And only reason being is to make sure that we can get all of the dirt and debris in between the bolsters on the sides and also underneath those seats out. I always recommend picking up some sort of rubber or all-weather floor mat. Most car companies sell floor mats that are specific for your car, and it's just something additional to protect your carpets if you can, because you don't know if it's raining, if it's snow, if you decided to spill a milkshake or whatever. You know, it helps contain some of the mess and keeps some of your carpet looking clean and makes the job that much easier when you're doing a detail to just pull those out, rinse those off, and throw them back in. So for those of you that saw the last video about the Dodge Durango, I counted all of the coins together and I had you guys guess what amount I found in that vehicle. And the person that won, I have listed in the description box below who guessed first. That person is winning a free set of Fox Clean detailing brushes. And for this video, I want to do the same thing. But for this one, I need you guys to guess down below, what sport did I play growing up and in college? If you guys can guess the right sport first, that person wins another set of free Fox Clean detailing brushes. So go ahead and blow up the comments down below and see if you guys can guess correctly. Because these seats aren't as drastically dirty as the other ones, it's not actually beneficial to pull out the full extractor for these, but we will be using the extractor for majority of the carpets in the front and the back that were not caught by the all-weather floor mats. And that is why I take out all the seats, because no matter how hard I tried, mine is getting hooked by that. Never would have been able to get all this clean. So if you have a newer car, this is so much easier because none of these bolts have been rusted. And also when you have a certain type of brand of car like this one, Toyota, for instance, doesn't show the back of these bolts to the elements. Like the Durango that I did in the last video, those bolts are rusted on the bottom, so it took 10 times longer to get them out, where these ones zipped right out, no problem. So if you guys have a newer car, it's a lot easier. One tip, guys, that if you're detailing a car, or even your own car for that matter, always check that your spare has air in it. Look around this area and see, like sometimes water can get underneath here if your seals are not okay. Dirt can get inside this rear tire well. And it's minuscule and it's not something that you'll typically go into to see if it's dirty. But when it's clean, it's just like the icing on the cake. Now that the car is fully disassembled, let's finish up with the vacuuming and then we'll get into the grunt of the work. Now that we have the seats out of the car and we've gotten everything vacuumed up and we have a really good idea of the mess that we have in the vehicle, the next thing I'm going to do is try to wipe down everything. So this includes all of the back panels in the trunk up top, cleaning the windows, cleaning the door panels, cleaning the dash, getting the glove box and the center console all cleaned up, getting all of those taken care of before we go down to the bottom of the car, because by the time we get there, if we've vacuumed and we've already extracted and cleaned the carpets perfectly, once you do all those additional steps, you're going to dirty it up again. So by doing all this first, it gives you the ability to be human, get some dirt back in the car, re-vacuum it up before you do the extraction, and save that for last, so that way the car is pristine, perfect, and you don't mess it up, and everything is at the end. I always get asked what products I use in my videos, and I will link those all down in the description box below. And if you guys are looking for detailing brushes or lily brushes, I have those on my personal site, foxclean.com. I will have that linked as well below. Go ahead and check it out. It helps support this channel, and I am planning on launching quite a few more products come this spring. Now for the door panels, we're just gonna be using an all-purpose cleaner, and this is a common question I get as well, is what does the 10-to-1 ratio mean and all that different thing, and what all-purpose cleaner I use. Typically for an all-purpose cleaner, I use LA is Totally Awesome. There's a Chemical Guys All Clean that I use as well. And then I take those products, take a standard water bottle, and think about it in tenths, or think about it in fifths, or break down, just eyeball the bottle itself and fill that much up with the cleaner, and then the rest with water. That's essentially what that 1 to 10, it's a ratio essentially of how much solution to water you put into the bottle to use as a cleaning solution. Sometimes a higher dilution rate is needed for certain parts of the car, but for majority of details, and even all of the disaster details you guys see on my channel, 10-to-1 is what I usually typically go with, and it does a damn good job, and I don't have to worry about changing it. So it makes it pretty easy when it comes to grab and go of any of my products. Once I wipe down everything with the all-purpose cleaner and my bristle brush, I then usually go with a Chemical Guys Silk Shine or 303 Aerospace Protectant. Both of those are good products at protecting your plastic panels or protecting vinyl, anything in your car, even leather seats. It helps with protecting them from 1, attracting any dust, but 2, giving them a nice shine, and 3, finally, the main thing is a UV protectant and keeping them from kind of discoloring over time from being out of the sun. One thing I like to do if I have time is I have a large blower fan that you see for like those crazy arm guys that are swinging around in front of car dealerships. One of those big like snail blowers are really good at flowing a lot of air through a car. And when you have a car that is wet, your seats are wet or your carpet's wet, especially in the wintertime when you can't just put it out in the sun, it helps with moving a lot of air quickly through it, so it expedites the drying time. Now for cleaning the carpets, I have a sprayer that I usually use Fabric Clean from Chemical Guys, or I'll just get, HDX, which is Home Depot's brand of carpet cleaner solution. I like to use either one of those interchangeably. The good thing about the Chemical Guys one is it does have like a lemon scent to it that helps kind of keep things smelling fresh and better afterwards, whereas some other ones don't. But I typically put that into my spray bottle, again, at a dilution ratio. Sometimes, 20 to 1, 32 to 1. It just depends on how dirty the carpets are. Once I've sprayed the carpets liberally in the areas that are affected that need to be cleaned, I'm gonna be using my drill brush. And for this one, I'm using a soft bristle. I usually default to a soft bristle because majority of stuff can be used with that, and you can also use it on your seats as well, including leather. But if you need to have something more aggressive, there are medium bristle brushes that are a little bit stiffer for some more of those stubborn stains. But go ahead and agitate the surface, get all that dirt and that fabric cleaner and everything kind of mixed in and get everything working like it's supposed to. And then I'm gonna be using my extractor, which just has plain old hot water, to extract all of that dirt and all of that fluid that we've already injected onto the surface and extract it out to reveal the perfectly clean carpet below. Sometimes this process takes 2 to 3 passes, depending on how much solution you've put onto the surface or how much dirt is there, and maybe you have to repeat the whole process again. But typically you can get away with 1 or 2 passes before it is completely cleaned. Now that we've done all of the carpets and done all of the extraction points at this time, I might follow up with a vacuum once again in case I dropped any other debris on the surface from my shoes or from my clothing. Do a final vacuuming, and then some of the lower panels that maybe got some splattering from the drill brush, I'll wipe those down as a final pass before I put the seats back into the vehicle.
What do you think?
Like brand new. Oh my gosh. Is that real?
Not too bad, eh?
Oh, thank you.
You're welcome. Yeah, it turned out really nice.
Yeah, Alex is gonna be so happy too. It's like brand new. Thank you.
You're welcome.
And this is the point of a detail where every detailer gets that warm fuzzy
This is
feeling
really what
inside,
makes it all
especially when they
worthwhile.
give it back to
And if
the
you guys
owner,
enjoyed today's
and you can
video,
just
make
see
sure you
how
give this
impressed
video a
they
thumbs
are
up,
with
subscribe
their
if you
car that
haven't
is essentially
already.
transformed
It helps
into a new
support this
vehicle.
channel,
So this
and
is
it means
kind
the
of
world
like
to me.
and I will see you guys in the next disaster detail coming up in a couple weeks. Bye guys.